Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Shadow, and today we're back on XDefiant. There was a pretty big update in XDefiant this week, which is why we're playing it yet again 2 weeks in a row. And Call of Duty is in the last week of Season 4, so there's not a whole ton to talk about with Call of Duty in terms of what we're doing right now. But Season 5 with Call of Duty starts on Wednesday, so we are going to be going over the details of the roadmap for Season 5 in this video. So before we get into that, please throw me a like down below if you like what you see. It does help the channel grow. On XDefiant, we did get an update yesterday that buffed some of the weapons that I actually wasn't using a lot because they were so weak, and they also nerfed or kind of just tweaked a couple of the faction abilities that, again, were kind of more annoying to me. So if you liked the video, please give me a like and a comment down below. Let's get into it. So they fixed a delay in reloading, swapping weapons, or deploying devices caused by players rapidly tapping the fire and ability buttons. Nice. Players who took advantage of a speed hack will now find themselves locked in place, which is the opposite of what they were going for. I absolutely love that. So anybody that was trying to do the speed hack, whether it's probably some sort of combination of buttons or button mashing, you're going to be stuck in place instead of moving at the speed that you would have liked to move that. I really like that nerf. And then they touched a few of the guns here. The M4A1 short range damage increased from 17 to 18. The MDR short range damage increased from 17 to 19. MP5 medium range damage increased from 13 to 14, and the headshot damage multiplier increased from 1.35 to 1.4. So some nice increase. Oh, and then another MP5 short range increase from 16 to 18 meters. Its medium range increase from 25 meters to 27 meters. The MDR ADS speed is improved. And some nice buffs. Now, if you're paying attention to some of these numbers here, they're not taking some of these guns. Again, before this patch, the M4, the MDR, and the MP5 were probably considered some of the lower tier weapons in the game.
Team deathmatch.
I don't want to say that they're the worst weapons in the game. There are some pretty, some rough weapons in this game, but in terms of full auto guns, they're definitely not the meta. And instead of taking those guns and making them now potentially the best guns in the game, they gave them a relatively significant buff, but didn't make them meta. I really like that. You don't have to take a gun that was the worst gun or one of the worst guns and then make it the best gun. You just got to tweak it to make it a little bit more competitive. And then likewise, if they were going to do something to like the ACR or the AK-47, I think they're lauded as some of the better guns in the game. I wouldn't want them to just nerf them into the ground to the point where they're not usable. You want to just nerf them to the point where the other guns in the game are just more competitive. Noodle poodle. I definitely need a bit of a faster reload on this weapon. But yeah, it definitely feels a lot better. I was using the MP5 when the game first came out, just as one of the weapons it's one of the first weapons you unlock. So I definitely, early on, I was trying to make it usable, but I never really liked the way it felt. It didn't feel like it was doing enough damage. It definitely feels like it's doing more damage now. And the MDR, they didn't just increase the MDR's like damage range and stuff. One of the biggest changes to the MDR that I absolutely love, and I'll probably pull an MDR out at some point here, is the MDR, the slide canceling animation is a bit improved, so it's not as glitchy, or it just kind of has like a weird hitch to it. It's kind of hard to describe. But now that that's fixed, I mean, they didn't even really need to touch it damage-wise for me. I didn't really ever get to the point where I felt like it was weak. My issues with the gun were always the hitch. The way I moved with it just felt weird. But now that they've improved that, that gun's now going to be a lot more usable for me. Let alone the fact that they've increased the damage. Yeah, but you never have to take the best gun or the worst gun and then make it, you know, from first to last or last to first. You just got to make everything kind of feel like, you just make me question. If I go to choose a gun and be like, all right, well, I could use the MP5 because it's good, but I could use a Vector because it's also good, or I could use an MP7 because it's also really good. That's what you want. You want to give people cause to pause when they go to choose a gun and when they're building a weapon. And all right, I'm switching to the MDR. Yeah, so Call of Duty, we're in a slow period just because it's the last week of the season. They gave us a blueprint instead of a aftermarket part. And the blueprint, I unlocked the blueprint and the camo. The camo is actually pretty cool. You do get a new camo. It's actually animated. I don't believe they've given us an animated camo before.
Sounds revealing enemies.
This is quite the close game. But in Call of Duty news, I will talk about them. We are getting Resurgence Superstore. So Superstore, if you didn't hear the news, Superstore is getting added into Uzbekistan. So Superstore is going to be on Uzbekistan. There is a construction site near the train tracks where the train tracks meet. It's kind of on the upper right side of the map if you're looking at Uzbekistan in Warzone. And they're going to put a Superstore there. And they're also going to give us Resurgence on Superstore, which will be fun. I can't wait for that. And of course, as any new season brings, we are going to get new weapons, which I will be streaming the new weapons live on Wednesday as they come out. And that's going to be fun. So the new guns we got, we have the STG is going to return. It is a World War II weapon, but I believe that they're going to modernize it. It's not going to be a... One second here. It's not going to be a World War II version of it, I don't think. I think it's going to be more of a modern version. It's going to be like black. It's not going to have the wood or the metal on it. It's going to be pretty much an all metal black gun. It's going to be interesting. We're going to get a new submachine gun. It looks a lot like the FJX Horse, but I'm assuming it's going to be different. How do you get in that window so fast? Like, that's crazy. I like that one. We'll play one more. So yeah, we are getting the STG, as I was saying. We're getting a new submachine gun. It looks a lot like the FJX Horse, but I'm assuming it's going to have its differences. I don't know what they're going to be. We'll see on Wednesday. But I have to admit, I'm getting a bit sick and tired of seeing the submachine gun and assault rifle as the weapons that we get every season. It seems like they pretty much, that's their default go-to. It's like, oh, we don't know what we're going to release this season, so let's give them an assault rifle, a submachine gun. Like, I don't know. It's kind of hard, especially from this position from last season when we just got like the Kar 98 and the Spaz 12, but I'd just like to see a little bit more variety. It seems like almost every season. New assault rifle, new submachine gun. Cool. But we are getting those, and we're getting a new melee weapon. It's going to be a spear, and the spear is you're going to be able to throw it, and you're going to be able to retrieve it, which is going to be interesting. So it's almost going to be like a mix between the throwing knife and the combat knife falling into one. And then the fourth and final weapon we're going to get in Season 5 is going to be a compound bow. And that also is going to be interesting because it's going to have retrievable bows. So if you shoot your bows, you're actually going to be able to find them on the map and go back and get them if you want. I got stuck. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting way to see how those last two weapons that I just mentioned, the spear, which is going to have retrievable, it's going to be a retrievable spear, and then the compound bow is going to have retrievable bow. It's going to be interesting to see how those play out. They're going to be really interesting, unique weapons for Call of Duty. And it's going to be interesting, especially to see how they're going to play out in Warzone. The STG has to hit in Warzone, you would have to think. Especially with everyone crying about how the long-range meta is always the same or it's changing too much. But I'd have to say the thing I'm most excited for with Season 5, it has to be Superstore Resurgence. I just didn't really see it coming. I didn't really think, I mean, I had no idea they were going to do this. But I have to give them props. There are rumors going around right now that Verdansk is not coming to Call of Duty until about a year from now. So around maybe May, June of 2025, we're supposed to get Verdansk. We're supposed to get it a lot sooner with the integration of Black Ops 6 into Warzone, which would happen in December, like it typically happens. but now there's rumors that it's going to be delayed. And now with on the the curtails of that being delayed, they're giving us Superstore in Uzbekistan. And again, I have to give them props for doing a resurgence on it too, because when I heard that we're getting Superstore for Uzbekistan, I wasn't very, I mean, it's like, all right, cool. I don't hate Superstore, but we had Uzbekistan for how many months now, how many seasons, and they really didn't change any of the map updates, no POI changes. And they're gonna finally give us one, but it's like, I'm not really playing a whole lot of big map Warzone. But then they're giving us Resurgence on Superstore, and I have to give them props. That's a good move. Because then that gives people like me a reason to go and jump in. I don't want to play Superstore on big map, per se. But Superstore Resurgence, that's something that does interest me. That's embarrassing for him. I don't know how that worked, but I'll take it. And that is pretty much the video. Overall, I want to say that this is a pretty dub update for XDefiant. Obviously, the whole FPS issues is not a great sign for things, but I do like the things that they've done in terms of the actual update for the weapons and the faction abilities. I like the fact that the MP5, the MDR, and the M4 are all way more usable now. And I like that the faction abilities that they touched, like the Spiderbot, it's a nice change. I don't like the fact that you weren't able to shoot the Spiderbot off of your face before. I like the fact that you're actually able to do something when the Spiderbot's just on your face. You don't have to just sit there and take it, which is really nice change there. And we have a lot of big, exciting changes for the update for Call of Duty in Season 5 next week. We will be streaming that live on Wednesday as the update goes live. But I am not going to be streaming on Tuesday. So Tuesday, don't expect to see me streaming. I'm going to be streaming Monday and Wednesday next week. Obviously, the big Call of Duty update, and we're going to continue to stream XDefiant as we continue to grind for more mastery camos on some of these guns. I am also playing Borderlands 3 with friends. I have a whole bunch of DLC that I have not played in that game, so we're going to be doing that on stream as well. So stay tuned. But I am out. Peace.